Joe, have you ever had that moment where reality smacks you so hard you feel it in your chest? Like life just leaned over and whispered, mate, you're on your own now. Yeah, that moment when it hits, nobody, literally nobody, is coming to save you. No fairy godmother, no secret millionaire uncle, not even your best mate with a cape. And the weird part, that moment can actually be the single most powerful wake-up call you'll ever get. Stick with me because today, I'm diving deep into the day. I realized no one was coming to save me, and how that terrifying, lonely truth became the fuel for everything I've built. Freedom, wealth, and a life I never thought possible. And hey, if you're already thinking, alive, why are you hyping fear? Listen, fear is a weapon if you wield it right. It's the urgency that forces you to act, the push you didn't even know you needed. And mate, by the end of this story, you'll see exactly how that works. Let's rewind. Picture me at 17, living in North America. My mom, absolute legend, was juggling 2 jobs, barely sleeping. My grandma, the ultimate powerhouse, keeping our little household alive, cooking, cleaning, budgeting every cent. And me? I was stuck in my head thinking, mate, this can't be all there is. I remember one freezing winter night in Canada. Snow piled high outside, streets empty, everything quiet except the wind howling like it was mocking me. I'm at the kitchen table, homework stacked like a leaning tower, feeling frustrated, trapped, and honestly, a bit scared of the future. And then I hear it, the muffled sobs from the bathroom. My mom, she thinks I can't hear her. But I did, and mate, my heart broke into a million pieces. That night, I learned a hard truth. Life doesn't owe you a rescue. No one is coming to save you. You're the hero, or you're an extra in someone else's story. I remember muttering under my breath, cheers, universe. Thanks for the pep talk. But that fear, that urgency, that was the spark I didn't know I needed. Most people, faced with that kind of wake-up call, do one of 2 things, freeze or panic. I did a bit of both. But freezing? That gets you nowhere. Panic? Well, if you channel it right, panic can push you into action. And that's exactly what it did for me. So what did I do first? I got a job, Tim Hortons, 20 hours a week while still attending school. While other teens were scrolling TikTok, playing FIFA, or meeting up with mates, I was serving coffee, counting tips, and learning the real value of $1. By the end of that first year, I had saved $5,000. Now, $5,000 might seem like pocket change to someone in New York or London, but for me it was life-changing. Not just because of the money, it was proof. Proof that I could take control, that I could make something happen for myself. But here's the kicker, that money didn't magically solve all our problems. My family was still struggling. The fear hadn't gone away. That's when I realized, if I wanted to escape, I couldn't just work a normal job forever. I had to do something scalable, something mine, something that could grow exponentially. Enter dropshipping. Sounds simple on YouTube, right? Find a product, build a website, run some ads, cha-ching. Easy money, they said. Reality? Brutal. I poured every penny I had into courses, ads, and products. 2 months later, nothing. 0 sales. My confidence? Shattered. My stomach? Tied in knots. My self-doubt? Through the roof. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, I thought, yep, universe confirmed. Too young, too clueless, too broke. But then I remembered my grandma. She was 87 at the time, had survived war, raised kids alone in a small Lebanese village, no money, no education, and yet somehow she thrived. She once told me, we survive, always. 4 words. But they hit me harder than anything else. If she could survive everything she went through, I could survive losing a few grand and failing. That was my turning point. 6 months later, I had saved again. But this time, no shortcuts. I studied everything, copywriting, marketing, product testing, psychology. I wanted skills, not a magic trick. I launched a second product, and mate, boom, 60,000 in profit. Not just cash, confidence, proof that persistence pays. Lesson 1, your first attempt probably won't succeed. Most people quit too early. Winners, they persist. Even when it's painful, lonely, and exhausting. There were nights I cried, moments I felt utterly alone, days when I questioned every single decision. But that struggle? That's the crucible where grit, strategy, and independence are forged. Okay, so I survived. I tasted victory. But surviving isn't thriving. I needed to go bigger. Financial freedom, independence, living life on my own terms. That was the goal. And mate, that's when the stakes got real. So now we're at the part of the story where life really starts testing you. The kind of tests that make you ask yourself, am I cut out for this? By 18, I'd made my first serious profit, $60,000. Sounds amazing, right? And it was. But here's the thing. That kind of success can lull you into a false sense of security. I thought, all right, I've got this. Easy street from here. Mate, reality had other plans. Even after that win, there were days where money seemed to evaporate. Like one week, everything looked solid. The next, unexpected bills came crashing down like Swiss avalanche. One moment I'm celebrating. The next, I'm wondering if I'd just blow it all and end up back where I started. I remember sitting in my tiny bedroom in Vancouver, staring at my laptop, feeling that familiar panic. And that's when it hit me. If I wanted to stay ahead, I needed more than just a lucky product. I needed a system. Here's something most people don't talk about. Success isn't just about money, it's about mindset. And mindset? That's global. Lessons from my grandmother in Lebanon. From a Kiwi mate I met online. From Swiss friends I traveled with. All of them shaped me. From the Swiss, precision matters. Every decision, every cent, every ad needs to have a purpose. From the Norwegians, stoicism. Life throws curveballs and you absorb, adapt, and push forward. From Aussies and Kiwis, resilience mixed with humor. Laugh at the chaos, then fix it. From Canadians, work ethic and patience. Slow, steady, consistent moves win the long game. From Brits, sharp wit and clever communication. Use your words to create influence. From Germans, efficiency. Time is money and you don't waste either. I realized making money is one thing. Keeping it, scaling it, and building independence, that's a completely different game. By 19, I had this growing audience online. People were asking questions, seeking advice, and I had this tiny spark of influence. But monetizing it? Yeah, that was tricky. Enter a mentor. I found someone who had already built a massive online presence, someone who could teach me what no YouTube tutorial could. Cost me a few $1,000s at the time, scary for an 18-year-old, but mate, it was the best investment of my life. The lessons were eye-opening. How to turn content into income, how to find high-paying sponsorships, how to create digital products that actually solve problems. And within months, I went from barely scraping by to $50,000 per month. Not luck, not hype. Real systems, real skills, real persistence. Of course, nothing went perfectly. There were days when TikTok videos flopped, when my ads underperformed, when I questioned every single decision. I'd lie awake thinking, mate, maybe I'm not meant for this. Maybe I'm just lucky once and done. But then I remembered why I started. The sobbing night of my mom, the sacrifices of my grandma, the countless hours grinding at Tim Hortons. I couldn't give up. That's the lesson most people miss. Resilience isn't just about enduring. It's about adapting, learning, and keeping your eyes on the prize even when failure is the soundtrack of your life. Also, let's be honest, waiting for someone to save you is a joke. Your hero probably wears socks with sandals, binge watches Netflix, and eats 3-day-old leftovers. If you're waiting for a superhero like that, you're in trouble, mate. It's funny, but it's true. The sooner you accept it, the faster you start winning. Here's where things start to get exciting. Because after months of studying, failing, pivoting, and grinding, I discovered the secret that turned 60,000 into real freedom, digital products. That's right, products that I created once, sold multiple times, and could scale without burning out. That was the real game changer. And in the next section, I'm going to break down exactly how that moment transformed my life, my income, and my mindset forever. I also learned some brutal truths about money and business. Your first business will likely fail. That's normal. Don't let it crush your spirit. You can't outsource your why. If you're relying on someone else to motivate you, you're doomed. Quick wins are illusions. Real growth comes from consistent effort and smart scaling. Invest in yourself. Mentors, courses, and education aren't expenses. They're investments with compounding returns. And here's a global twist. I applied lessons from around the world to my systems. A Swiss-style budget, Norwegian patience, Aussie grit, British marketing strategies. It all came together to create a framework I could rely on no matter what the market threw at me. And mate, if you're thinking, alive, that sounds exhausting. It was. But here's the thing. Building a life worth living always is. If you're comfortable, you're probably not growing. If you're scared, nervous, or overwhelmed, that's exactly where you need to be. So by the end of Act 2, I'd survived failure, learned massive lessons, scaled small wins into consistent income, and built a mindset that refused to quit. Now comes Act 3, the part where survival turns into thriving, where fear turns into freedom, and where all the lessons, all the sacrifices, all the hustle start to pay off in ways I never imagined. All right, mates. Now we're entering the part of the story where the grind finally starts paying off. Not just the money, but freedom, control, and the ability to live life on your own terms. By 19, after grinding, failing, pivoting, and learning, I had a solid audience online. People were watching, asking questions, and seeking guidance. But views alone don't pay rent, and that's where the real hustle began. I had to figure out how to monetize effectively without burning out or relying on luck. This was the game changer: digital products. Mate, if you're still relying on flipping or side hustles that trade hours for dollars, listen up. Digital products are scalable, repeatable, and best of all, create income while you sleep. I remember the moment vividly. I was in my tiny apartment in Vancouver, laptop open, staring at analytics. I'd created one course, sold it a few times, and then it clicked. This wasn't just a product. It was a system, one that could scale worldwide. And that's when I realized something crucial. Most people are looking for a quick fix, but true wealth, it comes from creating value that can reach hundreds, thousands, even millions, without trading more of your time. I started seeing it in action across the globe. A Kiwi mate teaching guitar lessons online, earning more than he did in his full-time job. A German friend selling a tiny productivity system to students worldwide. A Canadian buddy running digital workshops in finance while skiing in Whistler. All different cultures, same principle. Create once, sell many times, scale smart. Mindset shift from survival to thriving. And here's the emotional pivot. When you realize no one is coming to save you, it's terrifying, but it also teaches independence. It teaches discipline, vision, and strategy. I started thinking differently. My goals weren't just about money. They were about freedom, not just financially, but in how I spent my time. Impact, teaching others how to escape the grind. Security, building a life that couldn't be taken away if I got sick, tired, or markets crashed. Once I adopted this mindset, everything changed. I wasn't just chasing short-term wins. I was building a real empire, step by step. Okay, mates, let's pause and break this down. Because here's what I want you to take away. Your why must be massive. Mine? Never seeing my family struggle again. What's yours? Write it down, tattoo it on your brain. Invest in skills, not shortcuts. Courses, mentors, real learning. These compound faster than any flashy trend. Persistence beats talent. Rejection, failure, and flops. Normal, stick it out, adapt, win. Systemize your income. Don't trade hours for dollars forever. Build products, digital systems, or businesses that scale. Learn globally. Different cultures teach unique lessons. Swiss precision, Aussie grit, Norwegian patience, British wit, Canadian consistency. Mix and apply them. And if you're sitting there thinking, alive, mate, that sounds exhausting. It is. But mate, remember this, building. A life worth living isn't a Sunday stroll in Hyde Park or a chill day sipping espresso in Zurich. It's sweat, persistence, and smart work. But when you get it right, the payoff is insane. Here's where things get juicy. Once I embraced digital products, mentorship, and mindset shifts, I started scaling seriously. From 50K per month to 100K per month, doubling revenue while working fewer hours. Investing in other streams, real estate, stocks, passive income opportunities worldwide. Building a system that generates money automatically so I can travel, spend time with family, and still grow my wealth. By 21, I had multiple income streams. My first investment property, my dream home, financial freedom for my mom and grandma, and mate, the feeling, unbelievable. That moment when you realize you are no longer dependent on anyone. No one's saving you. You've become your own savior. Here's the kicker. Think about your life right now. Are you waiting for someone else to rescue you? A job promotion? A business partner? Your bank account to magically grow? Fear is the natural response to realizing no one is coming. But here's the secret. That fear is actually excitement in disguise. It's telling you have a chance to take control. Right now, today. And mate, once you act on it, that excitement becomes momentum. You start building, creating, winning, and every win compounds the next. Now, if you think all of this sounds like theory, hang tight. Because I'm going to share the next step. The exact habits and systems that allow anyone, yes, anyone, to become a millionaire by 30. Not some fluff. Not some guru hype. Real, actionable steps that work globally, no matter where you are. So here's what I want you to do next. Stop waiting. Stop hoping someone's going to swoop in. Be your own hero. And click here to watch my next video. The 7 habits that will make you a millionaire by 30. Trust me, Those habits are the culmination of every failure. Setback, late night, and breakthrough I just shared with you. They're the blueprint for turning fear into action, uncertainty into wealth, and struggle into freedom. Remember, no one is coming to save you. But that's actually the best news you'll ever get, because the only person who can truly transform your life is you. Cheers, and let's get to work.